The rain hit New Haven Colony like bullets from space. Emma Hayes pulled her jacket tighter as she ran between the metal buildings. Water poured down her face and made it hard to see. The weather shields that normally protected the colony had broken 3 hours ago. Now everyone was inside waiting for the storm to pass. Everyone except Emma. She had to check the atmospheric processors before they flooded. If those machines stopped working, the whole colony would lose its breathable air. 200 people lived here on this distant planet, and they all needed those processors to stay alive. Emma reached the first processor building and pulled out her scanner. The machine beeped as she pointed it at the metal walls. Everything looked normal. The water was running off the building like it should. She marked it as safe in her computer and moved to the next one. The second building was fine, too. So was the third. Emma started to feel better. Maybe the storm wouldn't damage anything important after all. She only had 2 more processors to check, then she could go back to her warm lab and dry clothes. Thunder crashed overhead. Emma looked up at the dark sky. Lightning flashed between the heavy clouds. This was the worst storm she had seen since arriving on New Haven 6 months ago. The planet usually had gentle weather. The colony had been built here because it was supposed to be safe and quiet. Emma reached the 4th processor. Her scanner showed that water was getting inside the building but not enough to cause problems. She wrote down the numbers and moved toward the last building. That's when she heard it. A sound came through the rain. It was high and sad, like crying, but it didn't sound human. Emma stopped walking and listened. The sound came again. It was weak and desperate. Emma followed the noise. It led her away from the processor buildings toward the edge of the colony. Here, the ground turned into wild grass and small trees. The crying sound got louder as she walked. She found the source behind a fallen tree. A small creature lay in the mud. It was about the size of a house cat, but it looked nothing like any animal Emma had ever seen. The creature had scales that changed color in the lightning flashes. First blue, then green, then purple. 4 tiny legs stuck out from its body. 2 small wings hung limp in the mud. A long tail curled around its side. It looked like a baby dragon from old Earth stories. The creature made the crying sound again. Its eyes opened and looked at Emma. They were large and golden and full of pain. Emma could see a deep cut on the creature's side. Blood mixed with rainwater and ran into the mud. Emma knew the rules. Any unknown life form had to be reported to the Colonial Authority right away. They would send a team to study it. They would take it away and put it in a lab. They would run tests and experiments to learn everything about it. But this wasn't just an unknown life form. This was a baby. It was hurt and alone and scared. It was going to die if no one helped it. Emma made her choice. She took off her jacket and wrapped it carefully around the small dragon. The creature was heavier than it looked, but Emma managed to lift it. She held it close to her chest to keep it warm and dry. The dragon stopped crying. It looked up at Emma with those golden eyes and made a soft sound, almost like a purr. Then it closed its eyes and went still. For a moment, Emma thought it had died. But she could feel its heart beating against her chest. Emma ran back through the colony. She avoided the main paths and used the back ways between buildings. No one else was outside in the storm, but she didn't want to take any chances. If someone saw her with the dragon, they would ask questions. They might try to take it away. Her lab was in a small building near the edge of the colony. Emma had chosen the location because it was quiet and private, perfect for her research on plant life. Now she was glad for the privacy for a different reason. Emma pushed through the lab door and quickly locked it behind her. She carried the dragon to her work table and gently laid it down on a clean cloth. Under the bright lights, she could see the creature more clearly. It was beautiful. The scales were tiny and perfect, each one a different shade. The wings were thin like paper but felt strong. The claws on its feet were sharp but small. Everything about it looked delicate and precious. Emma had studied biology for 15 years. She had seen thousands of different life forms from dozens of planets, but nothing had ever looked quite like this dragon. It seemed familiar somehow, like something from a half-remembered dream. The cut on its side was deep but not life-threatening. Emma cleaned it carefully with medical supplies from her first aid kit. The dragon woke up during the cleaning and looked at her, but it didn't try to get away. It seemed to understand that she was trying to help. When Emma finished cleaning the wound, she wrapped it in soft bandages. The dragon let her work without fighting. When she was done, it curled up in a ball and closed its eyes again. Emma sat in her chair and watched the small creature sleep. Outside, the storm continued to rage. Rain pounded against the lab windows. Thunder shook the building. But inside, everything was quiet and peaceful. Emma knew she had just changed her life forever. She had broken the most important rule of the colony. She had hidden an unknown life form from the authorities. If they found out, she would lose her. Yup, they might even send her to prison. But as she watched the dragon's tiny chest rise and fall with each breath, Emma knew she had made the right choice. This wasn't just a scientific specimen. It was a living being that needed help. It was alone and afraid, just like Emma had been when she first came to New Haven. Emma reached out slowly and touched the dragon's head with one finger. The scales felt warm and smooth. The dragon opened one golden eye and looked at her. For just a moment, Emma felt something strange. It was like the dragon was trying to tell her something without words, like it was saying thank you. Then the feeling passed and the dragon went back to sleep. Emma pulled a blanket from her supply closet and covered the small creature. Tomorrow she would figure out what to do next. Tonight, she would keep it safe and warm. The storm raged on outside, but Emma wasn't afraid anymore. She had found something wonderful in the rain and mud, something that would change everything. 3 weeks had passed since Emma found the dragon in the storm. She had named the creature Luna because of the way its scales glowed silver in the moonlight. Every day, Luna grew stronger and more curious about the world around her. Emma had created a small, safe space in the back room of her lab. She put soft blankets on the floor and brought in a heat lamp to keep Luna warm. The dragon seemed happy in her new home. She played with small toys Emma had made from lab equipment. She ate the special food Emma prepared from different plants and nutrients. But the most amazing thing about Luna wasn't how quickly she healed. It wasn't how fast she grew. It was how smart she was. Luna understood everything Emma said to her. When Emma asked her to stay quiet during the day, Luna would curl up and sleep. When Emma needed to work late, Luna would sit quietly and watch. When Emma felt sad or tired, Luna would come close and make soft purring sounds. It was almost like Luna could read Emma's mind. One evening, Emma was sitting at her desk, working on fake research reports. She had to pretend she was still studying plants while she really spent all her time taking care of Luna. Emma felt frustrated and tired. She wanted to tell someone about the wonderful creature she had found, but she knew it wasn't safe. Luna walked over and gently touched Emma's hand with her nose. The moment they made contact, something incredible happened. Emma felt a warm feeling spread through her mind. She could sense Luna's emotions. The dragon was concerned about Emma. She wanted to help, but didn't know how. Luna's feelings were pure and loving, like those of a devoted friend. Emma gasped and pulled her hand away. The connection broke, but the memory of it remained clear. She stared at Luna, who looked back with those intelligent golden eyes. "Did you just—" Emma started to say, then stopped. She reached out her hand again. Luna pressed her small head against Emma's palm. This time, Emma was ready for the connection. The warm feeling came back, but now she could sense more than just emotions. Images flashed through her mind. She saw herself from Luna's point of view, moving around the lab, bringing food and water. She saw her own face, kind and caring, through Luna's eyes. But then the images changed. Emma saw things she had never seen before. A world with purple skies and silver trees. Creatures that looked like Luna, but much larger, flying through crystal caves. Cities made of stone and light, built into the sides of mountains. Emma saw Luna's mother, a magnificent dragon with scales that sparkled like stars. The large dragon was hiding something precious in a small cave. It was Luna's egg, glowing with inner light. The mother dragon's face was full of sadness as she covered the egg with soft moss and backed away. Then Emma saw destruction. Ships from space, firing weapons at the beautiful dragon world. The silver trees burning, the crystal caves collapsing, dragons fleeing in terror as their home was torn apart. Emma saw Luna's mother one last time. The great dragon carried Luna's egg through space, her powerful wings beating in the emptiness between stars. She was hurt and dying, but she kept flying. She found a small planet with green forests and clean water, a safe place where her child might have a chance to live. The mother dragon landed near the human colony. She was too weak to go further. With her last strength, she hid the egg in a place where someone might find it. Then she flew away to die alone, so her body would not lead danger to her child. Emma felt tears on her face as the visions ended. She looked at Luna with new understanding. This wasn't just some random creature she had found. Luna was the last survivor of an entire race. Her people, the Dreknari, had been wiped out by some terrible war. "I'm so sorry," Emma whispered. Luna pressed closer, and Emma felt waves of comfort from the small dragon. Luna wasn't looking for pity. She was grateful to be alive. She was happy to have found someone who cared about her. Over the next few days, Emma and Luna practiced their mental connection. Emma learned that Luna could share not just memories and emotions, but also knowledge. Luna showed her things about the Dreknari that no human had ever known. The dragons were an ancient people who lived in harmony with their world. They could heal injuries with their touch. They could speak to other animals and plants. They could feel the emotions of all living things around them. Their entire culture was built on compassion and understanding. But their world had been rich in a rare mineral called star crystal. The crystal could power spaceships and make them travel faster than light. When human corporations found the dragon planet, they didn't care about the beings who lived there. They only wanted the crystal. The war was short and brutal. The Dreknari tried to defend their home, but they were peaceful by nature. They had no weapons that could match human technology. In just a few months, their entire civilization was destroyed. Emma felt sick as she learned this history. Her own species had committed genocide for profit. They had wiped out a beautiful, intelligent race just to get rich. But Luna didn't hate humans. She understood that Emma was different. Through their connection, Luna could feel Emma's genuine love and care. She knew that not all humans were like the ones who destroyed her world. As the weeks passed, Luna continued to grow. She was now the size of a small dog, with wings that could almost lift her off the ground. Her scales had settled into a pattern of silver and blue that caught the light beautifully. Her golden eyes showed wisdom far beyond her age. Emma marveled at how quickly Luna learned. The dragon could now understand complex ideas and even help with simple lab work. She could organize papers, find lost tools, and even mix basic chemical solutions under Emma's guidance. But more than that, Luna had become Emma's closest friend. After years of lonely research work, Emma finally had someone who truly understood her. Someone who cared about her feelings and shared her love of learning and discovery. Emma knew this couldn't last forever. Luna was getting bigger every day. Soon she would be too large to hide in the lab. Someone would notice her and then everything would fall apart. But for now, Emma was content to enjoy this special friendship. Every evening she and Luna would sit together, sharing thoughts and memories. Luna would show Emma more visions of the beautiful dragon world that once existed. Emma would share her own memories of Earth, of her childhood, of her dreams for the future. In these quiet moments, Emma felt complete in a way she never had before. She had found something precious in that storm, something that had changed her life forever. Luna wasn't just a creature she was protecting. Luna was family. Outside the lab, the colony continued its daily routine. People worked and talked and lived their normal lives, never knowing that in a small building at the edge of town, a miracle was growing stronger every day. The morning started like any other, but Emma felt something was wrong. Luna was restless, pacing around the lab with her wings slightly spread. The dragon kept looking toward the door and making low warning sounds. "What is it, girl?" Emma asked, reaching out to touch Luna's head. Through their mental connection, she felt waves of anxiety and fear. Something was coming. Something dangerous. An hour later, Emma understood what Luna had sensed. A ship arrived at New Haven Colony, sleek and black with corporate markings. Emma watched through her lab window as 3 people in expensive suits stepped out. They moved, with the confidence of people who were used to getting what they wanted. Emma's heart sank. She recognized the symbol on their uniforms: Titan Industries. The same company that had destroyed Luna's homeworld. Colony Director Peterson met the visitors at the landing pad. Emma couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could see Peterson nodding and pointing toward different buildings. The corporate team had scanners and other equipment. They were here to search for something. Emma quickly activated the privacy screens on her lab windows. She gathered Luna in her arms and carried her to the hidden back room. Luna understood the danger and stayed perfectly quiet. "We have to be very careful now," Emma whispered. Luna's golden eyes looked up at her with complete trust. "These are the bad people, the ones who hurt your family." A few hours later, Director Peterson knocked on Emma's lab door. Emma took a deep breath and opened it, trying to look calm and normal. "Emma, I'd like you to meet some visitors," Peterson said. Behind him stood a woman with cold gray eyes and 2 men with military bearing. "This is Agent Cole from Titan Industries. They're conducting a survey of local wildlife." Agent Cole stepped forward with a practiced smile. "Dr. Hayes, we understand you're the colony's expert on local biology. We'd like to ask you some questions about unusual life forms in the area." Emma's mouth went dry, but she managed to keep her voice steady. "I mostly study plant life. I haven't seen anything unusual." "Are you sure?" Cole asked. She pulled out a small device that beeped and flashed. "Our long-range scanners detected some interesting readings from this sector a few weeks ago, during that big storm you had. Energy signatures unlike anything in the databases." "I was checking equipment during the storm," Emma said. "I didn't see any animals, just rain and mud." Agent Cole studied Emma's face carefully. "Of course. Well, we'll be here for a few days conducting a thorough search. I hope you don't mind if we install some monitoring equipment around the colony. Just temporary for our survey." After they left, Emma felt sick with worry. She knew what those monitoring equipment devices really were: surveillance cameras and sensors designed to detect any unusual life forms. If Luna left the lab, they would find her immediately. Emma spent the rest of the day creating better hiding places in her lab. She built a small chamber behind her equipment storage area, invisible from the outside. Luna could stay hidden there if anyone came to search the lab. That evening, Emma watched through her window as the Titan Industries team set up their equipment around the colony. Cameras went up on every building. Sensor arrays were placed at the colony's borders. They were turning New Haven into a prison. Luna pressed against Emma's leg and shared her thoughts. The dragon could sense the electronic devices even through the lab walls. To her, they felt cold and hostile, like the weapons that had destroyed her world. Over the next 2 days, the corporate team interviewed every colonist. They asked about strange sounds, unusual animals, anything out of the ordinary. Emma heard rumors that they were offering money for information about exotic creatures. Some colonists started to get suspicious. Why were corporate agents so interested in local wildlife? What were they really looking for? But nobody had any useful information to give them. Most people had stayed inside during the storm 3 weeks. On the 3rd day, Agent Cole came to Emma's lab alone. "Mind if I look around?" Cole asked. It wasn't really a question. She was already walking past Emma into the main lab area. Emma's heart pounded as Cole examined her equipment and research. Notes: the agent was thorough and professional. She checked every corner, every cabinet, every possible hiding place. "Interesting work," Cole said, reading through Emma's fake plant research. "Very detailed. You've been busy." "I love my work," Emma managed to say. Cole moved toward the back of the lab. Emma fought the urge to stop her. Any sudden movement would make Cole more suspicious. The agent reached the storage area where Emma had built Luna's hiding chamber. Cole's scanner beeped softly. She frowned and adjusted the settings. Strange, Cole muttered. I'm getting some unusual readings back here, almost like there's something alive behind this wall. Emma's blood turned to ice. Luna was hidden just a few feet away. If Cole found her... Oh, that's probably the bacterial cultures, Emma said, quickly. I keep them in a temperature-controlled environment. Living organisms always show up on bioscanners. Cole looked at Emma for a long moment. Then she nodded and put away her scanner. Of course, I should have thought of that. After Cole left, Emma collapsed in her chair. Her hands were shaking. They had come so close to discovery. Luna crept out of her hiding place and pressed close to Emma. Through their connection, Emma felt the dragon's concern and gratitude. Luna understood how much danger they were both in. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay on the small bed in her lab, listening to the sounds of the colony. Everything seemed normal, but she knew it wasn't. The corporate team was still here, still searching. Emma thought about her options. She could try to keep hiding Luna, but it was getting harder every day. The dragon was growing quickly and needed more space to move around. Soon she would be too big to hide in the lab. Emma could try to contact the Colonial Authority and report what Titan Industries was doing, but the corporations had powerful friends in the government. They might just get official permission to continue their search, or Emma could try to get Luna away from the colony somehow. But where could they go? Emma didn't have a ship, and every transport off-world was monitored by the authorities. Luna seemed to sense Emma's troubled thoughts. The dragon climbed onto the bed and curled up next to Emma. Her warm scales felt comforting in the dark. Through their mental link, Luna shared a new memory. Emma saw a distant moon, hidden behind a gas giant. On that moon was a secret place where other dragons lived. Not many, but some had survived the destruction of their homeworld. They had been in hiding for decades, afraid to reveal themselves. Luna's mother had known about this hidden colony. Before she died, she had tried to send a message telling them about her egg, but she was too weak and hurt to make contact. She could only hope that if her child survived, somehow they would find their way to safety. Emma sat up in the darkness. You're not the last one, she whispered. There are others like you. Luna nodded and shared more images. The hidden dragons were dying slowly. They had saved some of their people, but not enough to keep their race alive. They needed young dragons like Luna to ensure their survival. But how could Emma get Luna to this secret moon? And even if she could, would the other dragons trust a human? After what humans had done to their people, they might kill Emma on sight. Emma lay back down and stared at the ceiling. Outside, the surveillance cameras watched and waited. In a few hours, the corporate team would continue their search. Time was running out, but Emma had made a promise when she first found Luna in that storm. She had promised to keep the dragon safe. No matter what it cost her, Emma would keep that promise. Tomorrow, she would start planning their escape. Emma woke to the sound of breaking glass. Red lights flashed outside her lab window. Emergency sirens wailed across the colony. Something was very wrong. She rolled out of bed and looked through the window. Corporate security officers in black armor were moving between buildings. Their weapons were drawn. Director Peterson stood in the center of the colony square, his hands raised in surrender. Luna pressed against Emma's leg, trembling with fear. Through their connection, Emma felt the dragon's terror. Luna could sense the violence and hatred radiating from the armed soldiers. Emma's computer terminal chimed with an incoming message. Her blood ran cold as she read it. Agent Cole had found Emma's real research files. The hidden data about Luna's biology and abilities. Everything Emma had tried to keep secret was now in corporate hands. Dr. Hayes, Agent Cole's voice came through the lab's communication system. Please step outside with your hands visible. We know what you're hiding. Emma looked at Luna. The dragon had grown so much over the past weeks. She was now the size of a large dog. with wings that could carry her short distances. Her scales gleamed silver and blue in the flashing emergency lights. "I'm sorry," Emma whispered. "I tried to keep you safe." But Luna wasn't afraid anymore. The dragon stood tall and proud, her golden eyes blazing with determination. She had learned much from her connection with Emma. She understood what was happening and what needed to be done. Emma heard footsteps outside the lab, heavy boots on metal floors. The security team was coming. Luna moved to the center of the lab and spread her wings wide. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. Emma felt power, building through their mental link, ancient power that had slept in Luna's blood since she was born. The lab door exploded inward. 3 security officers rushed in with weapons raised. Agent Cole followed behind them, a satisfied smile on her face. "There it is," Cole said, pointing at Luna. "The last Draknari, worth more than this entire colony." The officers raised their stun weapons. Luna opened her eyes and looked directly at Agent Cole. For a moment, the corporate agent's smile faltered. Something in Luna's gaze made her step backward. Then Luna released the power she had been gathering. A wave of pure psychic energy burst from the dragon's mind. It hit the security officers like a physical force, sending them crashing into the walls. Their weapons sparked and died. The lights in the lab flickered and went out. Agent Cole screamed and fell to her knees, clutching her head. All around the colony, electronic systems failed. The surveillance cameras went dark. The sensor arrays shorted out in showers of sparks. Emma felt the wave of energy pass through her mind, but it didn't hurt. Luna was protecting her, shielding her from the worst of the psychic blast. Instead, Emma felt Luna's memories flooding into her consciousness. She saw the truth about what had happened on the dragon homeworld. The Draknari had tried to use their psychic abilities to defend themselves, but they were too gentle, too kind. They couldn't bring themselves to seriously hurt their attackers, even to save their own lives. Emma saw Luna's mother in her final moments. The great dragon had used the last of her strength to hide her daughter's egg, knowing that one day Luna might grow strong enough to do what the adult dragons could not, to fight back without mercy when fighting was the only choice left. The psychic wave faded, leaving the lab in darkness. The security officers lay unconscious on the floor. Agent Cole was still on her knees, blood trickling from her nose. "Impossible," Cole gasped. "The adults never showed this kind of power. How can a juvenile—" Luna stepped forward, her scales glowing with inner light. When she spoke, her voice echoed in both Emma's mind and the air around them. "I am not just any juvenile," Luna said, her mental voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom. "I am the last daughter of a murdered race. I carry the memory of every dragon who died. Their power flows through me." Emma stared in shock. This was the first time Luna had ever spoken in words, instead of just emotions and images. Cole struggled to her feet, her face pale with fear and greed. "Capture it alive," she ordered the unconscious soldiers. "This specimen is worth a fortune." But the soldiers couldn't hear her. Luna's psychic blast had damaged their minds as well as their equipment. They would be unconscious for hours. Luna turned to Emma. "We must leave now. More soldiers will come." Emma grabbed her emergency pack and supplies. She stuffed everything important into a backpack while Luna watched the door. Outside they could hear shouting voices and running feet. The colony was in chaos. "Where can we go?" Emma asked. "They'll track us anywhere on this planet." Luna shared another vision with Emma. The hidden moon where other dragons lived. Luna's psychic awakening had sent a signal across space. The surviving Draknari now knew she existed. They were calling to her, guiding her home. "But I don't have a ship," Emma said. Luna's eyes glowed brighter. "There is a way. The emergency shuttle in the colony's east hangar. I can use my abilities to start its engines without the proper codes." They slipped out of the lab through the back door. Emma's heart pounded as they moved through the dark colony streets. Red emergency lights cast strange shadows between the buildings. In the distance, she could see more corporate ships landing. The east hangar was empty. Everyone was dealing with the crisis at the main landing pad. Emma found the emergency shuttle, a small ship designed for short rescue missions. Luna placed her claws on the shuttle's control panel. Her scales glowed as she used her psychic abilities to bypass the security systems. The engines hummed to life. "I've never flown a ship before," Emma said, looking at the complex controls. "I will guide you," Luna replied. "The memories of my people include knowledge of space travel." They climbed aboard as shouts echoed from across the colony. Someone had discovered the unconscious soldiers in Emma's lab. Searchlights began sweeping the area. Emma's hands shook as she worked the shuttle controls. Luna pressed her head against Emma's shoulder, sharing calm and confidence through their mental link. Together they managed to lift the small ship into the air. Laser fire erupted from the ground as they rose above the colony. The corporate soldiers had recovered enough to fight back, but Luna was ready for them. She extended her psychic shield around the shuttle, deflecting their shots. As they escaped into space, Emma felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. She was leaving behind everything she had known, her home, her career, her old life. But she was also beginning an adventure that would change the galaxy forever. Luna pressed closer to Emma as they flew toward the distant stars. Through their connection, Emma felt something that made her heart sink. Luna was growing weaker. The psychic blast had used up most of her strength. And there was something else. Something Luna had been hiding. The young dragon was dying. She had been separated from her own kind for too long. Without the life energy that came from being near other dragons, Luna's body was slowly failing. They had to reach the hidden colony soon, or Emma's sacrifice would mean nothing. Luna would die alone in the cold emptiness of space, just like her mother had. The small shuttle drifted through space, its fuel running dangerously low. Emma had been flying for 3 days, following the psychic signals that Luna received from the hidden dragon colony. They were close now, but Luna was getting weaker with each passing hour. The young dragon lay curled in the co-pilot seat, her breathing shallow and uneven. Her beautiful scales had lost their glow and turned a dull gray. Emma could feel Luna's life force fading through their mental connection. "Stay with me," Emma whispered, gently stroking Luna's head. "We're almost there." Luna opened her golden eyes and looked at Emma with love and gratitude. Even dying, she was more concerned about Emma than herself. Through their link, Emma felt Luna's worry about what would happen to her human friend. "Don't worry about me," Emma said. "You're going to be okay. Your people will heal you." But Luna shared a troubling truth with Emma. The hidden colony was old and set in their ways. They had been hiding from humans for decades. They might not trust Emma enough to let her stay. They might heal Luna, and then send Emma away back to a world where she would be hunted by Titan Industries for the rest of her life. Emma felt a chill of fear, but she pushed it aside. Luna's survival was more important than her own safety. "There," Emma said, pointing through the shuttle's window. "Is that it?" A small moon hung in space ahead of them, hidden behind the massive bulk of a gas giant. The moon looked ordinary from the outside, covered in gray rock and ice. But Luna's eyes brightened as she sensed her people's presence. Emma guided the shuttle toward the moon's surface. As they got closer, the rock seemed to shimmer and change. What Emma had thought was natural stone revealed itself to be an incredible illusion. Hidden beneath the false surface was a world of impossible beauty. Crystal spires rose from gardens of silver trees. Waterfalls of liquid light cascaded down mountainsides. Cities of flowing architecture curved along the valley floors, built in harmony with the natural landscape. It was everything Luna had shown Emma in her memories, and more. Dragons filled the sky, welcoming their lost child home. They were magnificent creatures, each one unique in color and size. Some had scales like emeralds, others like sapphires or rubies. Their wings caught the light from the artificial suns that illuminated this hidden world. Emma landed the shuttle in a clearing surrounded by the silver trees. As soon as the engines shut down, dragons began landing around them. Emma felt their psychic presence like warm sunlight on her face. But she also felt their suspicion and anger. These dragons remembered what humans had done to their people. They remembered the burning of their homeworld, the death of their families. Emma was not welcome here. An ancient dragon with scales like polished gold approached the shuttle. Emma could feel the weight of centuries in his mind. This was Elder Wisdom Keeper, the leader of the surviving Draknari. Emma helped Luna out of the shuttle. The young dragon could barely stand, but she managed to bow respectfully to the elder. "I am Luna, daughter of Starsinger," she said in the formal dragon tongue, her words echoing in everyone's minds. "I come seeking the healing of my people." Elder Wisdom Keeper's eyes softened as he looked at Luna. "Child of my child's child," he said gently. "You carry the blood of heroes. You are welcome here." Then his gaze hardened as he looked at Emma. "But why do you bring this human to our sanctuary? Have you forgotten what her kind did to us?" Luna struggled to stand straighter. "This human saved my life. She protected me when she could have sold me to the destroyers. She sacrificed everything to bring me home." "Humans are incapable of true sacrifice," another dragon said, his scales flashing angry red. "They think only of profit and power." Emma stepped forward, her heart pounding with fear but her voice steady. "You're right to hate us," she said. "My people destroyed your world for money. We committed genocide because we were greedy. I can't undo that, and I won't insult you by trying to make excuses." The dragons listened in surprise. They had expected Emma to lie or make false promises. "But Luna is dying," Emma continued. "She needs your help to survive. If you can heal her, then nothing else matters. You can send me away or kill me if you want. Just please save her." Luna pressed weakly against Emma's side. Through their connection, she shared her memories with all the dragons present. They saw Emma finding her in the storm. They felt Emma's love and care during the long weeks of hiding. They experienced Emma's terror when the corporate agents came, and her determination to protect Luna at any cost. Elder Wisdom Keeper stepped closer to Emma. His ancient eyes studied her face, reading the truth in her emotions. "You would give up your freedom to save one dragon child," he said slowly, "even knowing that we might never let you leave this place." "Yes," Emma said without hesitation. "And if saving her required your life force, bonded permanently to hers, if it meant you could never return to your own kind?" Emma looked at Luna, seeing the hope and fear in those golden eyes. She thought about her old life on New Haven Colony, her research, her career. All of it seemed small and meaningless compared to the friendship she had found. "Yes," Emma said again. "Luna is family. I would do anything for family." The dragons fell silent, speaking to each other in mind speech too rapid for Emma to follow. She caught fragments of their thoughts. Some still didn't trust her. Others were amazed by her willingness to sacrifice. All of them were impressed by the love they felt between Emma and Luna. Finally, Elder Wisdom Keeper spoke. "We have debated long about what to do with your kind," he said. "Some say all humans are evil. Others believe some might be redeemed. You have shown us something we thought impossible, a human capable of selfless love." He gestured to a group of healer dragons. "We will save young Luna, but the healing will require a permanent bond between you. Your life force will be linked to hers forever. You will share her strengths and weaknesses. You will live as long as she does, but you will never be able to leave this sanctuary. Are you willing?" Emma didn't need to think about it. "I'm willing." The healing ceremony took place at sunset in the most beautiful part of the Dragon City. Luna lay on a bed of crystal flowers while the healers worked their ancient magic. Emma knelt beside her, holding the dragon's claw as streams of silver light flowed between them. Emma felt the moment when her life force merged with Luna's. It was like coming home after a long journey. She felt complete in a way she had never imagined possible. The bond between them became unbreakable, stronger than blood, deeper than friendship. Luna's scales began to glow again, shifting from gray back to their beautiful silver and blue. Her breathing deepened and strengthened. The injury that had been slowly killing her healed completely. When the ceremony ended, both Emma and Luna felt reborn. They were no longer just friends or companions. They were something new, a bridge between two species that had been enemies. Years passed peacefully in the dragon sanctuary. Emma learned their language and customs. She helped them understand human science and technology, showing them ways to protect themselves from future attacks. In return, the dragons taught her their ancient wisdom about healing and harmony. Luna grew into a magnificent adult dragon, her scales now shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow. But she never forgot the human who had saved her life. She and Emma worked together as ambassadors, slowly building trust between dragons and humans. They made contact with sympathetic humans in the colonial authority, people who were horrified by what Titan Industries had done. Together, they began the long process of revealing the truth about the dragon genocide and seeking justice for the survivors. Emma sometimes missed her old life, but she never regretted her choice. She had found something more precious than any career or achievement, a family that loved her unconditionally and a purpose that would last forever. On quiet evenings, Emma and Luna would sit together in the crystal gardens, watching the artificial stars twinkle overhead. Luna would share memories of her mother and the old dragon world. Emma would tell stories about Earth and the beauty that humans could create when they chose love over greed. They were living proof that friendship could cross any boundary, that love could heal any wound, and that sacrifice for others was the highest calling of any intelligent being. In saving Luna, Emma had not lost her humanity. She had found the best part of it. The last Draknari was no longer alone, and neither was Emma. They had each other, they had their extended dragon family, and they had hope for a future where humans and dragons could live in peace. Sometimes the most important rescues happen not in storms or battles, but in the quiet moment when someone chooses to put another's life before their own. In that choice, both the rescuer and the rescued find salvation.